The academic procession will begin now.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. On behalf of the Board of Trustees, I would like to welcome you all to this 2014 commencement at Dartmouth College. Thank you. This commencement takes place in the 244th year of the college. The opening prayer will be offered by Nancy Vogele, who is the Director of Religious and Spiritual Life.
Thich Nhat Hanh, a Vietnamese Buddhist monk, reminds us that life is only available in the present. He writes, "The past has already gone, and the future has yet to come. Only in the present moment is one really in touch with the wonders of life." As your time at Dartmouth draws to a close, and before you start that next thing, we find ourselves here together in this present moment, a wonderful and sacred moment. I want to acknowledge two important things, two important groups of people. First, that this ceremony is being held on the traditional lands of the Abenaki people. And as such, I pay my respect to their elders, both past and present, and extend that respect to other Native people here today. Secondly, I acknowledge all those who have made it possible for each of us to be celebrating today. People who have loved us, encouraged us, challenged us, helped us in one way or another to become who we are. A Dartmouth professor whose attention and teaching changed you deeply. A third grade teacher who instilled early on the love of learning. Your youth minister, or imam, or scout leader. Your loved ones who are here to celebrate with you today, those who couldn't make it but love and guide you nonetheless, those of blessed memory who are here only in spirit. Any number of people for whom you hold a deep sense of gratitude for helping you get here today. In my religious tradition, as well as in many others, God comes to us not in the whirlwind, but in the sound of sheer silence. Let us now take a moment of silence to make sacred what we are about to do, and to honor and give thanks for those who have made it possible for us to do it. Amen.
For
Candidates for advanced degrees will now be presented by their respective deans. Candidates, once raised by your marshal, please remain standing until you have received your diplomas and return to your seats. A professional photographer is present, so we will appreciate the audience's cooperation in keeping the aisles clear. After the candidates for advanced degrees have been presented, the President will confer all degrees and the recipients will come to the platform to receive their diplomas. Names of the graduate students will be read as they come forward. The candidates for the degree of Masters of Business Administration will now be presented by Dean Paul Danos.
Mr. President, the women and men standing before you have completed all requirements for the degree Masters of Business Administration. At the request of the faculty of the Amos Tuck School and on their behalf, I am proud to present the candidates for your conferring of this degree.
Thank you. The candidates for the degree of Bachelor of Engineering and Masters of Engineering Management will now be presented by Dean Joseph Helble.
Mr. President, the women and men here before you have completed all of the requirements for the degrees of Bachelor of Engineering and Master of Engineering Management. At the request of the faculty of the THAYER School of Engineering, and on their behalf, I am proud to present them to you for the awarding of those degrees.
The candidates for the degrees of Master of Arts in Liberal Studies, Master of Arts, and Master of Science will now be presented by Dean John Kull.
Mr. President, the arts and science graduate students standing before you have completed all of the requirements of Dartmouth College for the degrees of Master of Arts in Liberal Studies, Master of Arts, or Master of Science. At the request of the faculty and on their behalf, I proudly present them to you for the awarding of those degrees.
The candidates for the degree of Master of Public Health will now be presented by Dean Chip Souba.
Mr. President, the women and men now presented to you have completed all of the requirements of the Audrey and Theodore GEISEL School of Medicine for the degree of Master of Public Health. At the request of the faculty and on their behalf, I am proud to present these candidates for your conferring of that degree.
By virtue of the authority vested in me by the Board of Trustees of Dartmouth College, I confer upon you the degrees witnessed by the testimonials you are about to receive, and declare you entitled to all of its rights, honors, and special obligations pertaining thereto.
Will the degree recipients please come forward to receive their degrees?
For the degree of Masters of Business Administration, Christopher Dolan.
Siddharth Shreya Agrawal. Michael John Bonasiski.
Pranav Abral.
Jeremy Michael Baskin.
Vincent Ahrens.
Allison Brindley Beck.
Eduardo Padella.
Shiran Singh Bandari.
Byron Anderson.
Christopher Bodine.
Miguel Andreas.
Kyle Gregor Bojanowski.
Sanjay Arora.
Nicholas Burford.
Javier Asalda.
Olivia Sky Cameron.
Ali Bachani.
Alexander Kyle Shin.
Nicole Bertucci.
Daniel Julian Chiniara.
Guillermo Bertu.
Yunyun Chu.
Jason Bodowitz.
Philip Matthew Coletti.
John Emil Mangeni Runda.
Kristen Ann Cowell.
Kathleen Ann Bach.
Elise Colette Kroto Chunka.
Amanda Carey.
Matthew McNav Curtin.
Simon Chen.
Aaron David Danilak.
Susan Chen.
Maya Christian Davis.
Yukon Chen.
Matthew James DePriest.
Fulvio Kanagi.
Tandor Delamni.
Brian Bradford Corey.
Zohair T. Doctor.
Ellen Jacobson Corey.
Eve Marie Duperval.
Catherine Cosgrove.
Kendall R. Farnham.
Benjamin Davis.
Noah James Glennon.
Thierry Desembray.
Kevin Cooley Griffith.
Benjamin Lee Duell.
Julianne Haldeman.
Dennis A. Dunnigan.
Alex Jordan Hansen.
Desperita Dutta Gupta.
Patrick Michael Heffernan.
Carlos Esteves Mendoza.
Daniel William Husband.
Joshua Fang.
Ari Joseph Jackson.
Hillary Hoffman Farrow.
Elliot James Kastner.
Ryan William Farrow.
Wajahat Kiani.
Solomon Gamero.
Zachary C. Kowalski.
Carrie Gee.
Travis McLean Custer.
Stannis Giovanni.
What's your last name? Lair. Nathan Lair.
Cedric Gomes.
Yehan Lee.
Evgeny Gonikin.
Curtis Lamb.
Charlene Gonzalez.
Matthew William Long.
Iglaim Gonzalez Marines.
Kylie Natasha Lucas.
Taylor Page Harrington.
Stephanie Claudia Malik.
Joshua Taylor Hawkins.
John Joseph Margarillo Jr.
Caitlin Hodge.
Alexander Paul Murphy.
Herman Shu.
Stephen Thomas Notter.
Sarah Jane Irwin.
Benjamin Joseph Nollet.
Yoshihiro Awakami.
Kwame Ampofo Onina Idiadu.
Hang Soo Jun.
Dennis Page.
Chris Jiaokun Jia.
C. Gunnar Pope.
Alexis Christine Kerr.
Raul Shakas Reina.
Pamela Kimball.
Tuade Ananio Dug.
Samita Kumar.
Ian Michael Schneider.
Catherine Brooks Lawrence.
Andrew William Schmist.
Difu Lee.
Elias Andrew Stein.
John Jong Hung Im.
Samuel Streeter.
Alice Lynn.
Joseph Thomas Steyer.
Frank Litzler.
Michael A. Urbach.
Megan Lodolo.
Christine Weimei Wang.
Douglas Micah London.
Ellen Weberg.
Nicola Lopez.
Samuel Winters.
Luke Marsdorf.
Shatian Dennis Wu. John Zaka.
Avanti Malusta.
For the degree of Master of Engineering Management, Stephanie Marie Garrison.
Gabriel J. Martinez.
Menjing A.
Brian McKenzie.
Mani Alai.
Matthew Harper McLean.
Supriya Anathana Krishnan.
Fernando Menendez.
Rushi Basfar.
Eric Men.
Christopher Sturris Bastard.
Andrew James Miller.
Thruv Rajaf Shada.
Gregory Thomas Tubert Miller.
Justin Chang.
Joshua Aaron Monteleone.
Ankit Gado Dia.
Margaret Claire Moran.
Pranjali Ganu.
Andrew Gibson Myers.
Celine Julia Micheline Heckle Jones.
Jeffrey Nickerson.
Brendan James Hedblum.
Luke Nomura.
Noor Izati Idris.
John J. O'Toole III.
Nicole Grace Irwin.
Siahung Michael Pan.
Jimmy Lou Lee.
Joseph Powers.
Huajing Lin.
Federico Cairolo.
Flit Lu.
Carolina Queiroz de la Fuente.
Prashant Narayana Vinod.
Mike Redu.
Sung Young Park.
Natalia Redu.
Amog Raj Pudyal.
Boria Rivero.
Madhurya Rashupali.
Manuela Rodriguez.
Yura Dirash Reddy.
Alberto Sanbria Ojeda.
Matthew David Rice.
Hermali Sungani.
Alexandros Sofianos.
Mandakini Sarup.
Arya Uprete.
Nicholas Joseph Scarkelli.
Mark Jacob Van Egen. Sriwatsan Vasudeon.
Simarindra Sarma.
Varsha Dugoapol.
Daniel Shim.
William Henry Arthur Voigt.
Alice Singh.
Chen Yi Wang.
Jai Chen Song.
Yu Zhao.
Rishikeshi Sutradhar.
Jiwan Shi.
Yutu Tego.
Shi Zhu.
Nancy Tam.
Pavan Reddy Raram.
Sam Thacker.
Meng Zhang.
Daniela Tions Mayer.
For the degree of arts in Master of Arts in Liberal Studies, Zachary Martin Williams.
Xing Tong. Diana Vong.
Tatiana Bills.
Diego Villalobos Zamora.
Ronald Luke Buca.
Diego Virjanasana.
Laura Parker Burgess.
Danielle Vanalone.
Megan Rebecca Fallon.
Guy Vitkei.
Brandon Ganch.
Wee Wee Wang.
Sirun Hitarun.
Jeffrey William Wanup.
Laurie James Laker.
Laura Ann Welch.
Bichao Lee.
Eric Williams.
Megan Motley Menon.
Matthew John Woodward.
Thomas John Onaki.
Sio Ching Wu.
Paola Ortego.
Siru Yagaki.
Rodrigo Alonso Ramirez.
Yan Yun.
Jeffrey William Sass.
Sandman Joshua Yun.
Alexandra Susan Sclafani.
Paulo Machado KZ.
Yijin Shun. Travis Wayne Shores.
For the degree
Jackson
of
Wright
Master
Schultz.
For the degree of Master of Public Health, Connor Alexander Richardson.
Pauline J. Shupula.
Hillary Catherine Alvarez.
Tyler Francis Walton.
Laura Blair Beidler.
Jacqueline Williams.
Nipun Bandari.
Carl William Yeager.
Dawn Ellen Carey.
Vicky Yanja Cho.
Thomasina Aaron Coates.
For the degree of Master of Arts, Timothy J. Brunel.
Leanna Claire Cohen.
Carlos Alberto Dominguez.
Brian Andrew Collins.
Jarrett Blake Doriagri.
Shravani Reddy Gangidi.
Georgina Hastings Emerson.
James A. Geiling.
Jianyu Fan.
Safo Zoe Gilbert.
Andrew Douglas Johnson.
Nathan Edward Hegarty.
James Robert Peck.
Lisa Michelle Jackson.
Irina Shuvalova.
Louis A. Jordan.
Marve Tabor.
Ruth Kabada Kiros.
For the degree of Master of Science, Matthew F. Biggie.
Almundum Soso Mancho.
Eric Benjamin Faber.
Emily Marshall.
Janan Howe.
Kiara Alfred Ndisi.
Rishwan Ho.
Stephanie O. Emwemu.
Yao Shang Kang.
Elizabeth Susan O'Neill.
Yuzhai Lang.
Ryan Morgan Reichel.
Huizhe Li.
Helena Michelle Eisenstark Rosenthal.
Tianxing Li.
Madeline Rosnick.
Xin Li.
Lena Abdallah Saleh.
Xinyu Li.
Ajizaraj Sevillaraj.
Zheji Liu.
Lisa Marie Solar.
Weijiao Mao.
Adrian Velazquez.
Dat Phuc Nguyen Duyen.
Hannah Joy Woods.
Jay Yogesh Patel. Shrivamshi Pitala. Xiao Shanxi. Liang Chao Chiao. Lauren T. Tran. Yue Xing. Ji Yang. Rutsi Chang. For the degree of Master of Science in Engineering Science, Yingni Chan. Valerie Susan Hansen. Shijun Wan. Tanil Jean Paniag. Andrew Allen Wong. Judith L. Arneson. Ramin R. Raji. Jeanette Marie West. Christine Ann Blasky. Kevin R. Bach. Patrick Brazier Burke. Mary Elizabeth Eldridge. Robert A. Green. K.C. Griggs B. Bohan. Tamara Lise Heath. Victoria Lohner. Brian Stephen Martin. John Thomas Powell. Kenneth Walker Rudd. George J. Jaker, Jr.
Candidates for the degree of Doctor of Medicine will now be presented by Dean Chip Shuba.
Mr. President, the women and men now presented to you have completed all of the requirements of the Audrey and Theodore Geisel School of Medicine for the degree of Doctor of Medicine. At the request of the faculty and on their behalf, I am proud to present these candidates to you for the conferring of this degree.
By the virtue of the authority vested in me by the Board of Trustees of Dartmouth College, I confer upon you the degree of Doctor of Medicine and declare you entitled to all the rights, honors, and special obligations pertaining thereto.
Will the degree recipients please come forward to receive their degrees?
David Goldenberg. Rachel Akintayo. Nora Hassan Barmawi. Marianne Teresa Bauer. June Choey. Quinn T. Chu. Benjamin Seth Colby. Chin Ho Fung. Addie Hill. Jirshin Shu. Adam Husan Kassam. Ali Lopez Aguiar. Lana Lorraine Lim Lua. Matthew Brian Mackey. Brooke McLaughlin. John Brooks Motley. Luke Curran Olson. Bizan Osmani. Daniel Michael Ranieri. Brenda K. Rubo Raytamo. Ginny Kwan Ringelberg. Sarah Nicole Robinson. Stephanie Marcel Rollin. Sebastian Rubino. Omar Sherze. Cindy Sai.
Candidates for the degree of Doctor of Philosophy will now be presented by Dean John Kull.
Mr. President, the arts and science graduate students standing before you have completed all of the requirements of Dartmouth College for the degree of Doctor of Philosophy. At the request of the faculty and on their behalf, I now proudly present each of them to you for the awarding of that degree.
By the virtue of the authority vested in me by the Board of Trustees of Dartmouth College, I confer upon you the degree of Doctor of Philosophy and declare you entitled to all the rights, honors, and special obligations pertaining thereto.
Will the degree recipients please come forward to receive their degrees?
For the degree, Doctor of Philosophy, Marie M. Onukomaya, Experimental and Molecular Medicine. Lamira Sarah Alayubi, Biochemistry. Janine Amaker, Biochemistry. Sadink Antwi Boampong, Chemistry. Cassie Archer, Mathematics. Amanda L. Balboni, Experimental and Molecular Medicine. Samuel Adams Beal, Jr., Earth Sciences. Jonathan S. Bloom, Mathematics. Tiago Vasconcelos Brito, Physics and Astronomy. Seiko Toraya Brown, Microbiology and Immunology. Stella Chilai, Microbiology and Immunology. Corey Taylor Cornelius, Computer Science. Lauren Elizabeth Culler, Biological Sciences. Andrew J. DeCastro, Experimental and Molecular Medicine. Jennifer Lynn Hope Demers, Engineering Sciences. Jonathan Daniel Denning, Computer Science. Dinkun Du, Engineering Sciences. Mary Catherine Durye, Biological Sciences. Zebediah Eric Engberg, Mathematics. Congratulations. Bradley W. Ficco, Engineering Sciences. Sergei Victor Fogelson, Cognitive Neuroscience. Justin Thomas Foy, Chemistry. We ready? Okay. Paolo Giacometti, Engineering Sciences. Elizabeth Ann Gillespie, Mathematics. Chi Gu, Engineering Sciences. Sean Anthony Galuri, Psychological and Brain Sciences. Dagon Ha, Microbiology and Immunology. Zachary Roth Hamaker, Mathematics. Daniel Harburg, Engineering Sciences. Robert William Holt, Physics and Astronomy. Evert Klaus Holverda, Engineering Sciences. Daniel Nicholas Hupalo, Biological Sciences. Angelica Azalon Jackson, Microbiology and Immunology. Michael Germain, Engineering Sciences. Vidya Karunakaran, Biochemistry. Catherine Marie Kinnaird, Mathematics. Peter Yaes Kohler, Cognitive Neuroscience. Stephen J. Kuhn, Engineering Sciences. Scott Michael Lalonde, Mathematics. Corina Lesser Perez, Experimental and Molecular Medicine. Laura Benner Levy, Earth Sciences. Justin Matthew Lopchuk, Chemistry. Rustin R. Lovewell, Microbiology and Immunology. Michael Anthony Mastanduno, Engineering Sciences. Fanling Meng, Engineering Sciences. Kelly Elizabeth Michelson, Engineering Sciences. Lucy Rudo Mokura, Experimental and Molecular Medicine. Archana Murali, Biological Sciences. Chinshin Pan, Genetics. Catherine Elizabeth Powers, Psychological and Brain Sciences. Stephen David Reinitz, Engineering Sciences. Andrea Maureen Robinson, Psychological and Brain Sciences. Emily Catherine Schaefer, Experimental and Molecular Medicine. Miri Shin, Microbiology and Immunology. Chin Su, Chemistry. Jennifer Amanda Tate, Engineering Sciences. Anne-Marie Thompson, Experimental and Molecular Medicine. Ali Sechkin Titsits, Experimental and Molecular Medicine. Scott Andrew Turner, Genetics. Vinoy Vijayan, Genetics. Catherine Udelia Wang, Biological Sciences. Xiaoyong Chong, Genetics.
Mr. President, on behalf of Dartmouth's faculties and pursuant to votes by the college's Board of Trustees, I now present to you 5 remarkable individuals for the conferring upon each of them the degree honoris causa. First, for the degree Doctor of Humane Letters, Eric Foner.
Eric Foner, hailed as one of the most prolific and creative American historians of the past 20 years, you have deeply influenced the crafting of American history and our ability to engage with it. As noted in The Atlantic, it's tough for an historian to earn the adoration of both academia and popular culture. Yet this is precisely what you have achieved. Citing your historian father as your first great teacher, you describe how his lectures gave you an appreciation for how present concerns can be illuminated by the past. This passion flourished through your education, culminating with perhaps your last great teacher and mentor, Richard Hofstadter at Columbia University. Your father was surely proud when your own commitment to working with students earned you Columbia's prestigious Great Teacher Award. In addition to being elected a fellow of both the American and British Academies of Arts and Sciences, you are only the second person to serve as president of the Organization of American Historians, the American Historical Association, and the Society of American Historians. As an author exploring the intersections of intellectual, political, and social history, one historian notes that you have an enormous influence on how other historians, as well as a good cut of the general reading public, have come to think about American history. Your most recent work, The Fiery Trial, Abraham Lincoln and American Slavery, awarded the Pulitzer Prize for History, is a shining example of this. For your life's pursuit of bringing American history to life and making its enduring lessons relatable to your students and the larger public, Dartmouth College presents you the honorary degree of Doctor of Humane Letters.
Mr. President, for the degree Doctor of Science, Margaret Geller.
Margaret J. Geller, as one of the world's foremost astrophysicists, your work to map the breathtaking complexities of the universe has taken the fields of cosmology and astronomy in unimagined directions. From your early work at Princeton to your groundbreaking exploration of the large-scale structures of the universe, your belief that astronomy is a measure of the reach of the human mind and your passion to broaden this reach underlie the span of your career. Your ongoing quest to unfold the mysteries of dark matter reminds us that the work of the astrophysicist sometimes probes the very nature of man's understanding of existence. Your investigations into the internal structure and mass of galaxy clusters, as well as your own co-discovery of the Great Wall and hypervelocity stars, will be studied for generations to come by those who long to know how our universe is ordered and came to be. Exemplified by your numerous professional accolades, including a MacArthur Foundation Fellowship, your commitment to science and science education is commendable. In addition to your extensive public lectures, your films, Where the Galaxies Are, and So Many Galaxies, So Little Time, have helped students and the larger public better understand the role of the sciences in our lives. For your pioneering work mapping the expanse of the universe, for your relentless curiosity which pushed the bounds of human knowledge, and for your commitment to helping us all better understand our respective place in the universe, Dartmouth College is proud to award you the honorary degree of Doctor of Science.
Mr. President, for the degree Doctor of Science, David Kelly.
David M. Kelly, as one of the world's most innovative designers and educators, you've engaged mankind's most challenging problems with a holistic perspective. Your desire to reflect human behavior in our interaction with technology has set you apart since your early days as an engineer with Boeing and NCR. As a student in Stanford's Joint Program in Design, you developed a unique ability to push the boundaries of creativity beyond tradition. Your contributions in design have received numerous national and international awards, including recognition from the National Academy of Engineering for unusual accomplishment in the pioneering of new and developing fields of technology. As CEO and co-founder of IDEO, perhaps the world's most influential product design firm, you brought your vision of technology serving the user to life. Your work with Steve Jobs revolutionized the way that we interact with technology and its aesthetic. In fact, some of your innovations have transcended functionality to find homes in the permanent collections of the museums of modern art in New York and San Francisco. Returning to Stanford to teach and create the Hasso-Plattner Institute of Design, you've inspired a new generation of students to approach design challenges by understanding the needs of the user and ensured your place in the history of design thinking. For your tireless pursuit of innovation in every aspect of your professional and academic work, for your passion to inspire creative confidence through your published works and public lectures, and for significant contributions to the fields of engineering and design which have impacted our society in countless ways, we are proud to award you with the honorary degree Doctor of Science.
Mr. President, for the degree Doctor of Letters, GEISEL.
GEISEL, your essential work as a painter, composer, filmmaker, and writer transcends culture and speaks to all of humanity. As a self-styled professional dabbler, you grew from a child peddling paintings to tourists into an internationally acclaimed artist. You've captured life in your native South Africa so compellingly, your work has been translated into 21 languages, touching lives on every continent. Shaped in equal parts by the literature and oral tradition of your youth, your tales engage us through the intimate and the urgent. From the earliest international recognition of your play, We Shall Sing for the Fatherland, we have been moved by your ability to craft human stories amidst a broader perspective, framing the present with the shadowed hues of the past. Your fiction challenges us to contemplate the complex forces at play historically and in post-apartheid South Africa. In novels such as Ways of Dying, The Heart of Redness, and The Madonna and Excelsior, you command what the New York Times deemed a Dickensian social range, an ability to generate characters from diverse backgrounds, colliding against the barriers erected to divide them. As a teacher of writing, you've influenced numerous students seeking to connect with their own unique traditions. And your work to create the African Writers Trust continues to bring together African writers in the diaspora in ways never before possible. For your extraordinary work as an artist, your commitment to developing the gifts of others, and for affording the world special insight into the rich culture of your homeland, Dartmouth College delights in awarding you the honorary degree of Doctor of Arts.
Mr. President, for the degree Doctor of Arts, Shonda Rhimes, class of 1991.
Shonda Lynn Rhimes, with your groundbreaking work as a screenwriter, director, and producer of compelling film and television, you've earned a well-deserved place amongst the most influential creative minds in America. As you gaze across the crowd gathered before you today towards your favorite hangout as a student, the Top of the Hop, we are touched by your sentiment that Dartmouth was where you began to think of yourself as a citizen of the larger world. Your mark on the entertainment industry has indeed been profound. Even your earliest work signaled a rare talent. Your script for Introducing Dorothy Dandridge met with commercial and critical success, earning numerous awards for actress Halle Berry. And though your career is far from over, you have already given us nothing short of a modern television institution, the highly acclaimed and long-running drama Grey's Anatomy. And your newest show, Scandal, is currently one of television's highest-rated dramas. Twice honored by Time magazine as one of the 100 people who helped shape the world, you've changed the face of entertainment. Perhaps your quintessential contribution is embodied by the Women in Film Lucy Award, which recognized you for your creative works that have enhanced the perception of women in television. For your extraordinary gifts as a writer, who taps into the human condition with wit and wisdom, for your mastery of both the creative and business aspects of your craft, and for powerfully representing the character-driven leadership we strive to imbue in all our students. Dartmouth College delights in awarding you the honorary degree of Doctor of Arts.
President Hanlon, faculty, staff, honored guests, parents, students, family, and friends. Good morning, and congratulations to the Dartmouth graduating class of 2014. So, this is weird, me giving a speech. In general, I do not like giving speeches. Giving a speech requires standing in front of large groups of people while they look at you, and it also requires talking. I can do the standing part okay, but the you looking and the me talking, I am not a fan. I get this overwhelming feeling of fear, terror, really. Dry mouth, heart beats super fast, everything gets a little bit in slow motion, like I might pass out or die or poop my pants or something. I mean, don't worry, I'm not going to pass out or die or poop my pants, mainly because just by telling you that it could happen, I have somehow neutralized it as an option. Like as if saying it out loud casts some kind of spell where now it cannot possibly happen. Vomit. I could vomit. See, vomiting is now also off the table. Neutralized it. We're good. Anyway, the point is, I do not like to give speeches. I'm a writer. I'm a TV writer. I like to write stuff for other people to say. I actually contemplated bringing Ellen Pompeo or Kerry Washington here to say my speech for me. But my lawyer pointed out that when you drag someone across state lines against their will, the FBI comes looking for you. So, I don't like giving speeches in general because of the fear and terror. But this speech I really did not want to give. A Dartmouth commencement speech, dry mouth, heartbeat so fast, everything in slow motion, pass out, die, poop. Like it would be fine if this were 20 years ago, if it were back in the day when I graduated from Dartmouth. 23 years ago, I was sitting right where you are now. And I was listening to Elizabeth Dole speak, and she was great. She was calm and she was confident, and it was just different. It felt like she was just talking to a group of people, like a fireside chat with friends, just Liddy Dole and like 9,000 of her closest friends. Because it was 20 years ago, and she was just talking to a group of people. Now, 20 years later, this is no fireside chat. It's not just you and me. This speech is filmed and streamed and tweeted and uploaded. NPR has like a whole site dedicated to commencement speeches. A whole site just about commencement speeches. There are sites that rate them and mock them and dissect them. It's weird and stressful and kind of vicious if you're an introvert perfectionist writer who hates speaking in public in the first place. When President Hanlon called me, and by the way, I would like to thank President Hanlon for calling me way back in January, thus giving me a full 6 months of terror and panic to enjoy. When he called me, I almost said no. Almost. Dry mouth, heartbeat so fast, everything in slow motion, pass out, die, poop. But I'm here. I'm gonna do it. I'm doing it. You know why? Because I like a challenge. And because this year I made myself a promise that I was gonna do the stuff that terrifies me. And because 20 plus years ago, when I was trudging uphill from the river cluster through all that snow to get to the hop for play rehearsal, I never imagined that I would one day be standing here at the old pine lectern, staring out at all of you, about to throw down on some wisdom in the Dartmouth Commencement address. So, you know, yeah, moments. Also, I'm here because I really, really wanted some EBAs. Okay. I want to say right now that every single time someone asked me what I was going to talk about in this speech, I would boldly and confidently tell them that I had all kinds of wisdom to share. I was lying. I feel wildly unqualified to give you advice. There is no wisdom here. So all I can do is talk about some stuff that could maybe be useful to you from one Dartmouth grad to another. Some stuff that won't ever show up in a Meredith Grey voiceover or a Papa Pope monologue. Some stuff I probably shouldn't be telling you here now because of the uploading and the streaming and the tweeting. But I'm gonna pretend that it is 20 years ago, that it's just you and me, that we're having a fireside chat. Screw the outside world and what they think. I've already said poop like 5 times anyway. Things are getting real up in here. Okay, wait, before I talk to you, I wanna talk to your parents. Because the other thing about it being 20 years later is that I'm a mother now. So I know some things, some very different things. I have 3 girls, I've been to the show. You don't know what that means, but your parents do. You think this day is all about you, but your parents, the people who raised you, the people who endured you, they potty trained you, they taught you to read, they survived you as a teenager, they have suffered 21 years and not once did they kill you. This day, you call it your graduation day, but this day is not about you. This is their day. This is the day they take back their lives. This is the day they earn their freedom. This day is their Independence Day. So parents, I salute you. And as I have an 8-month-old, I hope to join your ranks of freedom in 20 years. Okay, so here comes the real deal part of the speech, or you might call it some random stuff, some random alum who runs a TV show thinks I should know before I graduate. You ready? When people give these kinds of speeches, they usually tell you all kinds of wise and heartfelt things. They have wisdom to impart. They have lessons to share. They tell you, follow your dreams, listen to your spirit, change the world, make your mark, find your inner voice and make it sing, embrace failure, dream. Dream and dream big. As a matter of fact, dream and don't stop dreaming until all of your dreams come true. I think that's crap. I think a lot of people dream, and while they are busy dreaming, the really happy people, the really successful people, the really interesting, engaged, powerful people are busy doing. The dreamers, they stare at the sky and they make plans and they hope and they talk about it endlessly and they start a lot of sentences with, I want to be, or I wish. I want to be a writer, I wish I could travel around the world. And they dream of it. The buttoned-up ones meet for cocktails and they brag about their dreams. And the hippie ones have vision boards and they meditate about their dreams. And maybe you write in journals about your dreams or discuss it endlessly with your best friend or your girlfriend or your mother, and it feels really good. You're talking about it and you're planning it, kind of. You are blue skying your life. And that is what everyone says you should be doing, right? I mean, that's what Oprah and Bill Gates did to get successful, right? No. Dreams are lovely, but they are just dreams, fleeting, ephemeral, pretty. But dreams do not come true just because you dream them. It's hard work that makes things happen. It's hard work that creates change. So lesson 1, I guess, is ditch the dream and be a doer, not a dreamer. Maybe you know exactly what it is you dream of being, or maybe you're paralyzed because you have no idea what your passion is. The truth is, it doesn't matter. You don't have to know, you just have to keep moving forward. You just have to keep doing something, seizing the next opportunity, staying open to trying something new. It doesn't have to fit your vision of the perfect job or the perfect life. Perfect is boring, and dreams are not real. Just do. So you think, I wish I could travel. Great, sell your crappy car, buy a ticket to Bangkok, and go. Right now, I'm serious. You want to be a writer? Writer's someone who writes every day, so start writing. You don't have a job? Get one, any job. Don't sit at home waiting for the magical opportunity. Who are you, Prince William? No, get a job, go to work. Do something until you can do something else. I did not dream of being a TV writer. Never, not once, when I was here in the hallowed halls of the Ivy League, did I say to myself, Self, I want to write TV. You know what I wanted to be? I wanted to be Nobel Prize winning author Toni Morrison. That was my dream. I blue skied it like crazy. I dreamed and dreamed, and while I was dreaming, I was living in my sister's basement, Dreamers often end up living in the basements of relatives, FYI. Anyway, there I was in that basement, and I was dreaming of being Nobel Prize-winning author Toni Morrison, and guess what? I couldn't be Nobel Prize-winning author Toni Morrison because Toni Morrison already had that job, and she wasn't interested in giving it up. So one day I was sitting in that basement, and I read an article that said, it was in the New York Times, and it said it was harder to get into USC Film School than it was to get into Harvard Law School. And I thought I could dream about being Toni Morrison, or I could do. At film school, I discovered an entirely new way of telling stories, a way that suited me, a way that brought me joy, a way that flipped this switch in my brain and changed the way I saw the world. Years later, I had dinner with Toni Morrison, and all she wanted to talk about was Grey's Anatomy. That never would have happened if I hadn't stopped dreaming of becoming her and gotten busy becoming myself. Lesson 2. Lesson 1. Lesson 2 is that tomorrow is going to be the worst day ever for you. When I graduated from Dartmouth that day in 1991, when I was sitting right where you are and I was staring up at Elizabeth Dole speaking, I will admit that I have no idea what she was saying. Couldn't even listen to her. Not because I was overwhelmed or emotional or any of that, but because I had a serious hangover. Like an epic, painful hangover. And here is where I might want to apologize to President Hanlon, because I know that you are trying to build a better and more responsible Dartmouth, and I applaud you, and I admire you, and it is very necessary, but I was really freaking drunk the night before. And the reason I'd been so drunk the night before, the reason I'd done upside-down margarita shots at Bonesgate was because I knew that after graduation, I was going to take off my cap and gown, and my parents were going to pack my stuff in the car, and I was going to go home and probably never come back to Hanover again. And even if I did come back, it wouldn't matter, because it wouldn't be the same, because I didn't live here anymore. On my graduation day, I was grieving. My friends were celebrating, they were partying, they were excited, so happy. No more school, no more books, no more teachers' dirty looks. And I was like, are you freaking kidding me? You get all the froyo you want here. The gym is free. The apartments in Manhattan are smaller than my suite in North Mass. Who cared if there was no place to get my hair done? All my friends are here. I have a theater company here. I was grieving. I knew enough about how the world works, enough about how adulthood plays out to be grieving. Here's where I'm going to embarrass myself and make you all feel maybe a little bit better about yourselves. I literally lay down on the floor of my dorm room and cried while my mother packed up my room. I refused to help her. Like, hell no, I won't go. I nonviolent protested leaving here. Like, went limp like a protester, only without the chanting. It was really pathetic. If none of you laid down on a dirty hardwood floor and cried today while your mommy packs up your room, you are already starting your careers out ahead of me. You are winning. The thing I really felt like I knew was that the real world sucks, and it is scary. College is awesome. You're special here. You're in the Ivy League. You are at the pinnacle of your life's goals at this point. Your entire life up until now has been about getting into some great college and then graduating from that college, and now today you have done it. The moment you get out of college, you think you're going to take the world by storm. All doors will be open to you. It's going to be laughter and diamonds and soirees left and right. What really happens is that to the rest of the world, you are now at the bottom of the heap. Maybe you're an intern, possibly a low-paid assistant, and it is awful. The real world, it took so badly for me. I felt like a loser all of the time, and more than a loser, I felt lost. Which brings me to clarify lesson number 2. Tomorrow is going to be the worst day ever for you, but don't be an asshole. Here's the thing. Yes, it is hard out there, but hard is relative. I come from a middle-class family. My parents are academics. I was born after the Civil Rights Movement. I was a toddler during the women's movement. I live in the United States of America, all of which means I am allowed to own my freedom, my rights, my voice, and my uterus. And I went to Dartmouth and I earned an Ivy League degree. The lint in my navel that accumulated while I gazed at it as I suffered from feeling lost about how hard it was to not feel special after graduation, that navel lint was embarrassed for me. Elsewhere in the world, girls are harmed simply because they want to get an education. Slavery still exists. Children still die from malnutrition. In this country, we lose more people to handgun violence than any other nation in the world. Sexual assault against women in America is pervasive and disturbing and continues at an alarming rate. So yes, tomorrow may suck for you, as it did for me. But as you stare at the lint in your navel, have some perspective. We are incredibly lucky. We have been given a gift. An incredible education has been placed before us. We ate all the froyo we could get our hands on. We skied. We had EBAs at 1 a.m. We built bonfires and got frostbite and had all the free treadmills. We beer ponged our asses off. Now it's time to pay it forward. Find a cause you love. It's okay to pick just one. You're gonna need to spend a lot of time out in the real world trying to figure out how to stop feeling like a lost loser. So one cause is good. Devote some time every week to it. Oh, and while we are discussing this, let me say a thing. A hashtag is not helping. Hashtag yes all women, hashtag take back the night, hashtag not all men, hashtag bring back our girls, hashtag stop pretending hashtags are the same as doing something. Hashtags are very pretty on Twitter. I love them. I will hashtag myself in it next week. But a hashtag is not a movement. A hashtag does not make you Dr. King. A hashtag does not change anything. It's a hashtag. It's you sitting on your butt, typing on your computer, and then going back to binge watching your favorite show. I do it all the time. For me, it's Game of Thrones. Volunteer some hours. Focus on something outside yourself. Devote a slice of your energies towards making the world suck less every week. Some people suggest doing this will increase your sense of well-being. Some say it's good karma. I say that it will allow you to remember that whether you are a legacy or the first in your family to go to college, the air you are breathing right now is rare air. Appreciate it. Don't be an asshole. Lesson number 3. So you're out there, and you're giving back, and you're doing, and it's working. And life is good. You are making it. You are a success, and it's exciting, and it's great. At least it is for me. I love my life. I have 3 TV shows at work, and I have 3 daughters at home, and it's all amazing. And I am truly happy. And people are constantly asking me, how do you do it? And usually they have this sort of admiring and amazed tone. Shonda, how do you do it all? Like I'm full of magical magic and special wisdomness or something. How do you do it all? And I usually just smile and say, like, I'm really organized. Or if I'm feeling slightly kindly, I say, I have a lot of help. And those things are true, but they also are not true. And this is the thing I really want to say to all of you, not just to the women out there, although this will matter to you women a great deal as you enter the workforce and try to figure out how to juggle a work and family. But it will also matter to the men, who I think increasingly are also trying to figure out how to juggle work and family. And frankly, if you aren't trying to figure it out, men of Dartmouth, you should be. Fatherhood is being redefined at a lightning fast rate, and you do not want to be a dinosaur. So women and men of Dartmouth, as you try to figure out the impossible task of juggling work and family, and you hear over and over and over again that you just need a lot of help, or you just need to be organized, or you just need to try a little bit harder. As a very successful woman, a single mother of 3, who constantly gets asked the question, how do you do it all? For once, I'm going to answer that question with 100% honesty here for you now. Because it's just us, because it's our fireside chat, because somebody has to tell you the truth. Shonda, how do you do it all? The answer is this: I don't. Whenever you see me somewhere succeeding in one area of my life, that almost certainly means I am failing in another area of my life. If I am killing it on a scandal script for work, I am probably missing bath and story time at home. If I'm at home sewing my kids' Halloween costumes, I'm probably blowing off a rewrite I was supposed to turn in. If I'm accepting a prestigious award, I'm missing my baby's first swim lesson. If I'm at my daughter's debut in her school musical, I am missing Sandra Oh's last scene ever being filmed at Grey's Anatomy. If I am succeeding at one, I am inevitably failing at the other. That is the trade-off. That is the Faustian bargain one makes with the devil that comes with being a powerful working woman who is also a powerful mother. You never feel 100% okay. You never get your sea legs. You're always a little nauseous. Something is always lost. Something is always missing. And yet, I want my daughters to see me and know me as a woman who works. I want that example set for them. I like how proud they are when they come to my offices and know that they come to Shonda land. There is a land, and it is named after their mother. In their world, mothers run companies. In their world, mothers own Thursday nights. In their world, mothers work. And I am a better mother for it. The woman I am because I get to run Shondaland, because I get to write all day, because I get to spend my days making things up. That woman is a better person and a better mother because that woman is happy. That woman is fulfilled. That woman is whole. I wouldn't want them to know the me who didn't get to do this all day long. Wouldn't want them to get to know the me who wasn't doing. So lesson number 3 is that anyone who tells you they're doing it all perfectly is a liar. Okay. I fear I've scared you or been a little bit bleak, and that was not my intention. It is my hope that you run out of here excited, leaning forward into the wind, ready to take the world by storm. That would be so very fabulous, for you to do what everyone expects of you, for you to just go be exactly the picture of hardcore Dartmouth awesome. My point, I think, is that it is okay if you don't. My point is that it can be scary to graduate, that you can lie on the hardwood floor of your dorm room and cry while your mom packs up your stuff, that you can have an impossible dream to be Toni Morrison that you have to let go of, that every day you can feel like you might be failing at work or at your home life, that the real world is hard, and yet you can still wake up every single morning and go, I have 3 amazing kids, and I've created work I am proud of, and I absolutely love my life, and I would not trade it for anyone else's life ever. You can still wake up one day and find yourself living a life you never even imagined dreaming of. My dreams did not come true, but I worked really hard and I ended up building an empire out of my imagination, so my dreams can suck it. You can wake up one day and find that you are interesting and powerful and engaged. You can wake up one day and find that you are a doer. You can be sitting right where you are now, looking up at me, probably, hopefully I pray for you, hungover. And then 20 years from now, you can wake up and find yourself in the Hanover Inn, full of fear and terror because you were going to give the commencement speech. Dry mouth, heartbeats so, so fast, everything in slow motion, pass out, die, poop. Which one of you will it be? Which member of the 2014 class is going to find themselves standing up here? Because I checked, and it's pretty rare for an alum to speak here. Pretty much just me and Robert Frost and Mr. Rogers, which is crazy awesome. So which one of you is going to make it up here? I mean, I really hope that it's one of you, seriously. When it happens, you'll know what this feels like. Dry mouth, heartbeats so, so fast, everything moves in slow motion. Graduates, every single one of you, be proud of your accomplishments. Make good on your diplomas. You are no longer students. You are no longer works in progress. You are now citizens of the real world. You have a responsibility to become a person worthy of joining and contributing to society, because who you are today, that's who you are. So be brave, be amazing, be worthy. And every single time you get a chance, stand up in front of people. Let them see you. Speak. Be heard. Go ahead and have the dry mouth. Let your heart beat so, so fast. Watch everything move in slow motion. So what? You what? You pass out? You die? You poop? No. And this is really the only lesson you'll ever need to know. You take it in. You breathe this rare air. You feel alive. You be yourself. You truly, finally, always be yourself. Thank you. Good luck.
President will now present retiring faculty and staff.
Before I do, let's just join me in congratulating, thanking Dr. Shonda Rhimes for those amazing remarks. It's my privilege to recognize those members of the faculty and administration who are retiring this academic year after long and devoted service to Dartmouth. An alphabetical listing of them can be found in the commencement program. Please join me in thanking them for their many contributions. I'd also like to take this opportunity to ask all of you to join me in welcoming back this day the 50th reunion class, the great class of 1964. Welcome back. You may or may not know that the class of '64 is unique in Dartmouth history for having seen 5 of its members, that's right, 5 of its members go on to serve as trustees of the college. Please join me in recognizing the significant contributions of our class of '64 trustee emeriti, R. Bradford Evans, William H. Newcomb, Stanford A. Roman, Jr., Ronald B. Schramm, and David K. Shipler.
So will the graduates and the class of 1964 please rise and join the Glee Club in the singing of Dartmouth Undying.
Yes.
Associate Dean of the Faculty, Adrian Randolph, will now present the valedictorians.
This year, we are fortunate to be able to present of recognizing 5 graduating seniors with outstanding academic records. These students share the honor of having the highest academic ranking of the graduating class of 2014 and are being honored as valedictorians of the class. Please join me in recognizing our 5 valedictorians, each of whom has earned a GPA of 4.0. Our first valedictorian, Serena Shikang Liu, is a biology major with a minor in economics. Serena's hometown is Bellevue, Washington. Our second valedictorian is Jonathan Conrad Peddy, is a double major in economics and mathematics, minoring in engineering sciences. Jonathan is from Saskatchewan, Canada. Our third valedictorian, Ethan Joel Portnoy, is an economics major from Chappaqua, New York. Our fourth valedictorian, Ezra Jeremiah Toback, is a major in Asian and Middle Eastern languages and literatures, focusing on Japanese, and Asian and Middle Eastern studies. He is also from Chappaqua, New York. And our final valedictorian, Natalie Jane Salmanowitz, is a neuroscience major minoring in theater. Natalie's hometown is Menlo Park, California. Natalie will now present the valedictory to the college.
President Hanlon, members of the Board of Trustees, honored guests, and fellow members of the class of 2014. The last time I was on a stage giving a speech to a large audience was for the play my junior fall. I was speaking with a Yiddish accent, playing the part of an elderly rabbi, and was outfitted in a little boy suit with a full beard. Not only did the majority of my friends not recognize me, but I was informed afterwards that apparently my enunciation was so poor that no one actually understood the words coming out of my mouth. So hopefully things will be better this time around. I've always found the concept of a student speaker to be interesting, as you're tasked with representing the voices of 1,100 peers and offering profound words of wisdom when you've been alive for just a couple decades and can only reflect on your own singular experience. Considering that I still have not figured out how to make plain pasta, and only recently discovered that the word derelict is not pronounced derelict, despite what the movie Zoolander led me to believe, I'm in no position to give sage advice. So instead, I'm going to use my few minutes to discuss what I have come to appreciate most about Dartmouth and the main lessons that I have learned along the way. My time at Dartmouth has been the most enjoyable and memorable years of my life. I know that we all have our own relationships with the school, but I think we can agree that Dartmouth is an incredibly unique place. I tried to make a list of what I've come to appreciate most here, and I'd like to share a few of them with you. 1, the benefit of details. 2, the power of passion. And 3, the value of authenticity. First and foremost is the importance of details at Dartmouth. Often, when we think back on an experience or try to explain a concept to someone else, we consider the larger points or overarching picture. We've all been told in various classes not to get hung up on the details, since the main points are what truly matter. If we even think about simple daily interactions, people frequently focus on just the key points too. When we ask someone in passing how his a cappella show was, or how her lacrosse game went, we tend to expect just a quick summary in reply. What sets Dartmouth students, professors, and staff apart in my eyes is that the Dartmouth community is very detail-oriented. Whether it was the slew of follow-up questions in a casual conversation about my thesis, an entire class session spent discussing a seemingly minute sentence within a 300-page novel, the apple cider donuts my dorm's custodian made for Mass Row residents at the end of each term, the students who walk through the library with pizza boxes full of freshly baked chocolate chip cookies, or the annual poem emailed from Theodore GEISEL with an invitation to participate in a snowball fight at midnight on the green, I've become very aware of the difference that little details can make. When we reflect on our Dartmouth experience, it is not a general image or memory that we will have. Instead, we will remember the specifics. Details are what distinguishes Dartmouth, makes us different, and creates a lasting impact. The second element on my list is that Dartmouth enables and encourages us to be as random or linear as we see fit. In my own case, I have pursued the random path to an extreme. At Dartmouth, I am a neuroscience major, theater minor, and am interested in the criminal justice system. Now, I could say that all of these interests are interconnected since they require complementary skill sets. I could also talk about how they will prepare me to be the perfect casting choice for a future TV drama that just so happens to be about a neuroscientist in the courtroom. But that would be a stretch at best. Although, Shonda, if you ever decide to write a show along those lines, you know who to call. In reality, though, I am a neuroscience major because I'm fascinated by the brain and its impact on behavior. I'm a theater minor because acting challenges me to temporarily see the world through someone else's eyes. And I'm interested in the criminal justice system because I care about the equity of rules. But more importantly, I pursue these interests because I find them thought-provoking and enjoyable. And I've learned through my college years that providing further justifications is not necessary. As long as you are enthusiastic about something, people will listen. Think back to the first lunch you had with a friend after he or she returned from an off-term. Remember how excited that person was to tell you about an experience, internship, or newfound career choice, and how contagious his or her energy was upon describing each detail. Dartmouth allows us to follow whatever paths we wish, and I'm constantly inspired by the fervor that people here have for the things they do. I've learned that it is the passion that people find most compelling, not the cohesiveness of your life story. The passion that I just described directly relates to my third point, namely that people at Dartmouth are the real deal. Last year, psychologist Amy Cuddy gave a TED Talk about, quote, faking it till you become it. She said that by making little changes in your body language, you can cause others to perceive you in different ways. So there's apparently the Wonder Woman pose, whereby standing up straight and putting your hands on your hips will make you appear bigger and thus more assertive. Similarly, placing your hands in a V shape above your head before an interview is supposed to not only make you feel more powerful, but make others believe you are more powerful. When I first heard this, I thought it was such a neat concept, and even emailed one of my professors about it. The idea that success could be influenced by subtle alterations in the way you make others perceive you seemed like a stunningly simple, yet revolutionary phenomenon. However, the more I thought about my peers and the people around me, I realized that there is only so much benefit to be gained by faking it until you make it. The people I have met at Dartmouth are incredibly zealous, genuine, and comfortable in their own skin. Students here often say that the people are what make Dartmouth distinctive and special, and I completely agree. For me, this stems from the grounded nature that Dartmouth students exude on a daily basis, something that can only exist through authentic passions and interests. While I said at the beginning of this speech that I would not attempt to bestow any wisdom, I have realized that the three main reasons I appreciate my Dartmouth experience are inherently pieces of advice in themselves. I encourage all of you to take what makes Dartmouth special beyond the confines of this college on the hill. Remember the power of details and strive to bring that energy and attention to the lives of others, to your future studies, your job, and your personal life. Continue to pursue your own interests, whether those follow a linear pattern or not. Be passionate about what you do without being concerned about how your choices will dictate your future. Stay genuine, and if you ever find yourself faking it, stop. To my fellow classmates, thank you for everything you have taught me. I cannot wait to see what inspiring things you will do in the future. Congratulations.
It's tempting to try. I don't know. The candidates for the degree of Bachelor of Arts will now be presented by Associate Dean of the Faculty, Adrian Randolph. I'd like to remind the audience that a professional photographer is present and to request once again that you cooperate by keeping the aisles clear. Will the head marshal please raise the senior class for the conferring of their degrees?
Mr. President, the women and men now presented to you have completed all of the requirements of Dartmouth College for the degree of Bachelor of Arts. At the request of the faculty and on their behalf, I'm proud to present 1,116 candidates to you for the conferring of these degrees.
Members of the class of 2014, by the virtue of the authority vested in me by the Board of Trustees of Dartmouth College, I confer upon you the degree of Bachelor of Arts and declare you entitled to all of the rights, honors, and special privileges pertaining thereto. Congratulations.
The first two rows of the inside sections remain standing, and the rest of the rows, please be seated until it is your turn to approach the platform. Names of the graduating seniors will be read as they come forward.
Sanborn.
Julie Ann Haldeman.
Gardner Craiglow.
Anirudh Venkata Jayanti.
Gerben Peter Sherpbeer.
Gina Jahi Greenwalt.
Joseph Alexander Singh.
Jessica Renee Womack.
Serena Shikeng Liu.
Abby Louise D'Agostino.
Jonathan Conrad Petty.
Chisholm Obi Okoye.
Ethan Joel Portnoy.
Amelia Catherine Acosta.
Ezra Jeremiah Toback.
Griffin Thomas Adams.
Natalie Jane Selmanowitz.
Roxanne Arlie Aflalo.
Aaron Abraham.
Melinda Marlene Agron.
Kavya Adam.
Sarah Marie Alexander.
Taha Adib.
Lindsay Emily Allard.
Efe Aven Definity Ago.
Nicholas Tanner Allen.
Makeda Afuwerk Alamu.
Melissa Lily Ann.
Stuart Alexander Allen.
Froman Collis Anderson.
Marissa Lee Allen.
Samantha Kate Anderson.
Ala Alrababa.
Mark Very Andriola.
Amith Ananthram.
Robert William Anthony III.
Laurel Aaron Anderson.
Amelia Fitz Antrim.
Todd Shelby Anderson.
Anush Rose C. Arakelian.
Samuel Stewart Aney.
Syed Hasib Arshad.
Ivan Antonev.
Karina Arvizo.
Rachel Lauren Aragon.
Christine Elizabeth Auberly.
Alexander Thomas Arnold.
Sarah Ann Azizi.
Claire Catherine Arthur.
Emily Callahan Bayer.
Dylan Assail.
Charles Dean Bakes.
Elizabeth Claire Aviv.
Julian Oliver Benedict Banger.
Gabrielle Yvonne Babb.
Abigail Suzanne Bard.
Jennifer Bai.
Dinabu Berry.
Kenzie Balch.
Aditi Tara Basu.
Dana Christian Barbaro.
Stephen Wayne Beal Jr.
Forrest Stephanie Barnhart.
Emmeline Marguerite Berg.
Daniel Copeland Barnstein.
Charles Steveman Bergman.
Samuel Fitzgerald Bauer.
Jackson Bernhard Burler.
Clarice Ashley Benoit.
Gediminas Bertasius.
Michael Francis Berger.
Sunil Mahesh Bhatt.
Julia Lauren Berkowitz.
Daniel Park Birnbaum.
Daniel Burl Bernhard.
Christy Lynn Blackwood.
Matthew Alexander Bertrand.
I'll take your card. Jacob Jorgensen Blair.
Tyler Elliott Billup.
John Thomas Blade.
Jaleel Mustafa X. Bishop.
Evan David Bloom.
Anna Barbara Blady.
Nina Shepard Bowl.
Nicholas Blanco.
Mackenzie Helen Bohannon.
Arthur William Bledsoe.
Taylor Thomas Bolt.
Kelly Christine Bloomer.
Daniel Bornstein.
Sarah Bueno.
Matthew Allen Bossert.
Beatrice Boarquez Fuentes.
Charles Todd Bracken.
Joseph Terrell Bonnell Hall.
Kate Gallagher Bradshaw.
Rachel Zara Bornstein.
Jonathan William Brady.
Mandy Elizabeth Kealei Kamealani Bowers.
Robert Allen Brett III.
Charles Tyler Bradford.
Mackenzie Rose Bronson.
William Lee Bradshaw.
Alexander Flint Brown.
Kelly Case Brait.
Christopher Stephen Brown.
Jillian Amanda Oates Britton.
Seth Alexander Brown.
Scott Lawrence Brooks.
Caitlin Christian Burke.
Haley Malin Brown.
Peter Robert Butler.
Ross Halligan Brown.
Benjamin Jose Cabrones.
Shani Keneal Brown.
Mary Scott Kane.
Sandy Adeline Bunlawi Kaleem.
Isabel Sands Caldwell.
Amanda Jane Cahoy.
Peter Joseph Calvinelli.
Elizabeth Dalton Colby.
Anne Keene Campbell.
Jacqueline Ann Calloway.
John Schaefer Canning.
Devin Rose Camp.
Neirana Isioli Cunha Carnero.
Hillary Tootin Campbell.
Rachel Kathleen Carter.
James Allen Carlson.
Esteban Castaño.
Janie Karen.
Paula Georginas Casares.
Donald Philip Kassler Jr.
Weratorn Charatinarat.
Jane Oliver Cavalier.
Jenny Sen Ya Che.
Delos Chang.
Jeff Chen.
Stephanie Chavez Yenter.
Laura Chen.
Diane Du Chen.
Gabby Shiu Chen.
June Chin.
Jonathan Eric Chiang.
Wenjing Chen.
Colin Tatenda Chideme.
Lingxi Chen Yang.
Eugene W. Cho.
Nicole Jacqueline Kiavachi.
Michael Junghu Choi.
Angie Cho.
Alan Suje Chow.
Christy Choi.
Mohammed Hemayut Reza Chaudhry.
Sophie Soyoung Choi.
Anjali Desai Christie.
Audrey M. Chow.
Mike Chu.
Miles Matthew Christian.
Mariana Seed.
Devin Satoru Chu.
Sean Julia Chivali.
Kathleen Sora Chung.
Christopher Lang Clark II.
Catherine Driscoll Chima.
Emily Susanna Clegg.
Aaron K. Clark.
Coralie Clonch.
Kevin Joseph Clark.
Austin Tucker Cohen.
Eric Clemenson.
Aaron Gregory Colston.
Abigail Ida Cohen.
Janelle Elise Canseco.
Ross Allen Collins.
Terrence James Leroy Conklin.
Louis Joseph Concado.
Thomas Aloysius Cools.
Allegra Malcra Condioti.
Amy Page Couture.
William James Connolly.
Carissa Ann Crawford.
Megan Louise Cooney.
Laura Grace Cressman.
Colleen Patricia Cowdery.
Kara Therese Kurosh.
Mara Elizabeth Crespi.
Morgan Hodgson Curtis.
Evan James Curran.
Zachary William Cutler.
Xavier Alden Curry.
Janeri Derek Cyrus.
Cody James Cushing.
Megan Patricia Dagler.
Joshua David Cyphers.
Cecilia Lucia Dalla Ore.
Olivia St. Dahl.
John Paul D'Antonio.
Ellen Wasgett Daly.
Cara Ricky Husted Dastrup.
John Horton Daniels.
Brian Scott Davidoff.
Catherine Louise Dara.
Sanders Pierce Davis.
Catherine Margaret Doughton.
William Brandon Debo.
Nathaniel Clifford Davis.
Rachel Elizabeth Decker Sadowski.
Kyle Nigel Davey.
Megan Marie Deegan.
Luke Joseph Decker.
Alexandra Louise Delapia.
Renee Mary DeChili.
John Adam Descalzi.
Max Nicholas Dybel.
Stefan Joseph Deutsch.
Sebastian Michael DeLuca.
Jimena Diaz.
Anthony Joseph DeTore.
Mary Lauren DiGeronimo.
Spencer Geller Diamond.
Eric Leon Din.
Rose Helen Dikovitsky.
Michael Thomas Dodakian.
Callie Barrett Paz Collasos Hoverstein Diggory.
Charles Jiayi Dong.
Kathleen Cooper Dobell.
Joseph Pickett Dowdell.
Emily Francis Dollar.
Daniel Francis Driscoll.
Luke Foster Dornack.
Nipun Dua.
Samantha Claire Dowdell.
J. William Domanian.
Amy Caroline Drummond.
Catherine Margaret Dwyer.
Gavin Sky Duarte.
David James Eads.
Janae Ariel Dunchak.
Joshua Ugumsinachi Echebri.
Angie Dilgeri.
Benjamin Scott Edlin.
Jacob Fletcher Ebersol.
Emily Murphy Eisner.
Stefan Peter Eckhart.
John Hartshorn Elliott.
Justin Scott Einhorn.
Bridget Mary End.
Zachary Sidney Elias.
Monica Angela Erives.
Carly Jill Emmer.
Chelsea Vanessa Estevez.
Itai Erez.
Olivia Ruth Evans.
Bobby Esnard.
Shuyang Fang.
Jennifer Ariana Estrada.
Deepo Fashawe.
Eric Thomas Fagerstrom.
Devin Patrick Fay.
Samuel Allen Farnham.
Leah Beth Feiger.
Christopher David Faulkner.
Raivia Monique Ferguson.
Samantha Jo Thierer.
Sarah Gabor Fernandez.
Catherine Rose Fang.
Adrian Dominic Ferrari.
Maria Victoria Fernandez.
Danelle Corinna Finnan.
Victoria Milagros Fernandez.
Walker Rainey Fisher.
Graham Blake Findlay.
Frederick Preston Fletcher III.
Rebecca Dawn Finzi.
Kristen Longley Flint.
Shay Elizabeth Flanagan.
Natalie Elise Flowers.
Brian Rohrbeck Flint.
Jack Connor Foley.
Isha Victoria Flores.
Gabrielle Forestia.
Lisa Catherine Flynn.
Jeanette Alice Foster.
Hunter Blake Foraker.
Cole Edward Fowler.
Dennis Jean Foster.
Anna Rebecca Franklin.
Hatherley Allen Foster.
Max Philip Costa Frenkel.
Maria Isabel Regina de Vega Francisco.
Harriet Roxel Gabidon.
Jorge Ernesto Fregoso.
Eugene Joseph Gabbianelli.
Zoe Caroline Furlong.
Brittany Ariana Garcia.
Dylan Dean Gable.
Gilberto Garcia Jr.
Maria Christina Gallagher.
Matthew Charles Garzinski.
Gabino Garcia.
Harrison Ellis Gates.
Madeline Noel Garcia.
Andrew James Gay.
Jennifer Eileen Gargano.
William Davidson Gohegan III.
Lauren Rochelle Gatewood.
Stuart Theodore Gafford.
Matthew G.
Christopher Hamilton Gibson.
Andoni Socrates Giorgio.
Kristen Mary Givanello.
Cameron Joseph Gorbani.
Christopher Hansen Given.
Sunder Sham Gildemar.
Bridget Rose Golub.
Brian Philip Junta.
Alejandro Francisco Gomez Barbosa.
Rebecca Michelle Golub.
Christina Faye Goodson.
Irvin Antonio Gomez Juarez.
Aaron Goon.
Laura Elizabeth Goodfellow.
Patrick Winfrey Gould.
Emily Rose Goodwin.
Matthew Farrow Graves.
Catherine Louise Gugile.
Neil Edward Green III.
Charla Harrison Grass.
Samuel Amador Griffiths.
Bronson William Green.
Claire Elizabeth Groden.
Sean Thomas Griffin.
Mary Elizabeth Gard.
Molly Francis Grimes.
Aditya Avinash Gulanikar.
Jeffrey Gu.
Brandon Marquise Gunter.
Julio Santiago Guerrero Kesselman.
Samya Gupta.
Trevor Braden Gulick Stutz.
Berkeley Justine Hall.
Xingyue Guo.
Sean William Hammett.
Isaac Michael Gutman.
Daniel Joseph Harnish.
Joshua Alexander Hall.
Thomas Julius Poole Harrington.
Eliza St. John Hansen.
Jesse Ryan Harris.
Nook Aaron Harquail.
Graylin Harrison.
Daniel Solomon Harris.
Hilton Francois Nelson Hart.
Brett Campbell Harrison.
Anna Rose Hardy.
Ann Elmquist Hart.
Lindsay Alex Hout.
Cassandra J. Hart.
Rachel Faye Hechtman.
Christopher Mark Hauser.
Gabriella Heffesy.
William Campbell Haynes.
Margaret Victoria Heisler.
Kara Louise Hedges.
Allison Ruth Helzer.
John Carl Heisey.
Erin Monica Henn.
George Andrew Helding.
Camila Hernandez.
Charlotte Sandra McLeod Hendren.
James Julius Herring.
Daniel Christopher Hingler II.
Julia Ellen Katani Herringer.
Olivia Lubomirsky Herbert.
Lauren Elizabeth Haywood.
Alejandra Herrera.
John Daly DeCosta Higgins.
Kathleen Kramer Herring.
William James Hirschfeld.
Charlie Hetke.
Emily Margaret Ward Hoffman.
Catherine Ann Hickey.
Paul Henderson Hogan.
Shelby Eden Hines.
Lindsay Ann Holdcroft.
Kirsten Elise Hockader.
Juliet Hamilton Hollingsworth.
Matthew Gabriel Hoffman Johnson.
Graham Thomas Holt.
Andrew Ho.
John G. Hong.
Victor Henry Hollenberg.
Peter Cassidy Horark.
Daniel Homdahl.
Helen Wing Hei Hao.
Mitchell James Horacek.
Gavin Wong.
Noemi Elizabeth Horman.
Ryan Frank Houston.
Betty Huang.
Amelia Hope Hall.
David Shu Huang.
Ariane Shanice Hunter.
Clifford Ray Hughes Jr.
William Reuben Hurst.
Taylor Lee Hummel.
Eileen Hu Wang.
Eliza Walker Huntington.
Alessi Iture,
Pedro Hurtado Ortiz,
Adrielle Grace Jackson,
Ellen Teresa Irwin,
Mitchell Brent Jacobs,
Mary Catherine Ivansick,
Samarli Jarrett,
William Blair Jackson,
Benjamin Hillen Jenkins,
Rochelle Renee James,
William Kimpton Jewett,
Sucharita Lakshmi Yasodhara Jayanti,
Nicholas John Richard Joquin,
Lauren Bailey Jenny,
James Walter Johnson,
Kirk Jing,
Taylor Camille Lauren Johnson,
Caroline Bailey Johnson,
Makakwa Abigail Jones,
Maya Alla Johnson,
Brian David Pickthorne Joseph,
Dylan Bikert Jones,
Alexander Peter Judson,
Emily Elizabeth Jordan,
Nicholas McCary Judson,
Matthew Armstrong Joyce,
Yoon Young Jung,
Christopher Andrews Young,
William Trywell Kamkwamba,
James Jihum Jung,
Nathaniel Tucker Kenya,
Zachary David Kamen,
James Hunter Capel,
Brett Thomas Kanu,
Parth Call,
Joshua Dolph Kaplan,
Jeffrey Downing Keller,
Austin Walker Cadigan,
Lauren Kathleen Maylan Kelly,
Alan Christopher Keegan,
Catherine Page Kennedy,
John Cameron Kelly,
Ariel Glynn Kenyon,
James Hillier Kennedy,
Amir Ishaq Khan,
Liliana Rose Kennedy Paisler,
Michelle Carre,
Christine Rose Kerr,
Miriam Chirotich Kilimo,
Danielle Anita Kerr,
Albert Kayum Kim,
Alexandra Hitun,
Angela Boyoung Kim,
Catherine Grace Kilkenny,
Daniel Kim,
Alexander Kim,
Min Kim,
Christine H. Kim,
Sung Yun Kim,
Mingyu Kim,
Rebecca Joy Kimball,
Ryan Kim,
Edward Waylon Kingsley,
Yu Jiang Kim,
Chase Byrne Klein,
Robert Emmett King III,
Georgi Markov Klisurski,
Maxwell Aylward Kingsley,
Aaron Ballinsingham Koenig,
Michael Lewis Klein,
Dedipia Kunuthula,
Sarah Elizabeth Knapp,
Zachary Janakufakis,
Corinne Teresa Kaminkowitz,
Megan Ann Kratke,
Delano Poe,
Carolina Krelinova,
Adam Daniel Kraus,
Megan Therese Krumpak,
Naharika Krothpali,
Georgia Grace Kunzelman Pendleton,
Tyler David Kuhn,
Pallavi Sushila Kupa Apate,
Jacob Aaron Kupferman,
William Charles Kuzman,
Phoebe Kurtzman,
Lauren Elizabeth Kwan,
Hayden David Kwame,
Caleb Edward Ledoux,
Vincent La,
Kristen Michelle Lam,
Renee Lai,
Guilherme Lambert Gomez Ferraz,
Meredith Teresa Lathrop,
Charles Winthrop Laud,
Alexandria Michelle Leach.
Daniel Evan Leader.
Andrew Sungwon Lee.
Carolyn Lund.
Chloe Nazra Limlan Lee.
Unmyang Alice Lee.
Christina S. Lee.
Seo In Lee.
Sungwon Lee.
Amber Lehman.
Kara Ingram Lehman.
Jake Stern Lightling.
Veronica Ann Leonard.
David Lerner.
Richard Alexander Lessard.
Allison Yin Yi Lee Young.
Derek Lung.
Benjamin Lowenson Levander.
Allison Shelby Levins.
Teva Leah Levins.
Malcolm Leverett.
Nathaniel Lewin.
Jonathan Samuel Levitsky.
Amy Lee.
Andrew Iran Lee.
Clarissa Chingwing Lee.
Emily Lee.
Jachi Lee.
Jingxi Lee.
Randy Shinran Lee.
Kuni Lee.
Andrea Baron Leibowitz.
Chen Lee.
Andrew Sungmin Lim.
Jessica Hallie Likovich.
Samantha Grace Lindsay.
Yufan Lin.
Rex Gooding Littlefield.
Brenna Siobhan Liponis.
Jerry Yi Liu.
Max Dunyan Liu.
Shiwen Liu.
Sherry Liu.
Brendan Michael Loftus.
Siue Liu.
Brett Michael Lawson.
Andrew Patrick Longy.
Ariel Sanderson Lowe.
Nicholas Edward Lovejoy.
Christine Elizabeth Lozier.
Daniel Patton Lowenstein.
Victoria Ives Lusick.
Elizabeth Rose Lubiak.
Siddharth Shreya Urgrawal.
Elizabeth Faulkner Lummis.
Michael John Banasinski.
Clifton Lyons.
Kyle Krieger Bojanowski.
Karima Jolene Ma.
Nicholas Burford.
Liliana Esther Ma.
Yunan Chu.
Abigail Macias Chavez.
Philip Matthew Coletti.
Julian Josiah Macmillan.
Matthew McNay Curtin.
Kelly Justine McPhee.
Matthew James Deepice.
Henry Angus McQueen.
Eve Marie Duperval.
Victoria Jane Madigan.
Kendall Rebecca Farnham.
Thomas Corbin Madsen.
Kevin Cooley Griffith.
Isabel Laurence Magro.
Alex Jordan Hanson.
Lillian Rose McGuire.
Wajahat Ali Kiani.
Gabriella Leticia Micah.
Travis McLean Custer.
Caitlin Elizabeth Mayer.
Nathan Dennis Lehrer.
Austin Gray Major.
Curtis Lim.
Saida Mahmoud Zadar.
Matthew William Long.
Andrew Anthony Malizia.
Kylie Natasha Lucas.
Lindsay Sky Mandel.
Benjamin Joseph Nolet.
Stephen Francis Mangan.
Kwame Amporfor Orhine Aido.
Yesha Manyar.
Rahul Raina.
Leticia Yvette Manuel.
Tawinde Anani Sawadogo.
Robert Lee Marchman.
Ian Michael Schneider.
Cole John Marcoux.
Samuel Stewart Streeter.
Amanda Nicole Martin.
Joseph Steyer.
Savannah Mary Grace Martin.
Michael Avner Urbach.
Philippa Jenkins Martinez Barriere.
Christine Weimei Wang.
Tabo Matse.
Ellen Elizabeth Weberg.
Melissa Aiko Matsuoka.
Samuel Taylor Winters.
Sydney Lynn Madison.
Xiaotian Dennis Wu.
Alexander Matthey.
John David Zaka.
Annie Lori Maz Pugh.
Jonathan King Yan May.
Emily Kate Maxwell.
Joseph Eric Major.
Jillian Mayer.
Leela McCrae.
Graham Noble McConnell.
Grace Jordan McDevitt.
Emma Elizabeth McDermott.
Aaron Tyler Lewis McGee.
Julia Grace McElhenney.
Ives McLaughlin.
Kelly Rose McHugh.
Hillary Erin McNamee.
Michael Angus McLaughlin.
Britta Marie McComber.
Matthew Stephen McNearney.
Gabriella Francis Mead.
Ryan Roger McWilliams.
Nicholas M. Medrano.
Larry Antonio Meadows.
Adam Ross Mering.
Christopher Galbraith McGrew.
Catalina Mejia.
Senway May.
Matthew Van Millikian.
Roger Leonard Mielik.
John Christopher Melvin.
Tyler Melville.
Tina Meng.
Jamila Mena.
Daniel Miao.
Catherine Jane Meyer.
John David Mitchell.
Henry Abraham Michaels.
Christine Alexandra Miguel.
Genevieve Myers Mifflin.
Hugh Joseph Francois Miller.
Eric Arthur Miller Jr.
Sherry Ann Mills.
Andrew Embry Milligan.
Aditi Mishra.
Diana Ming.
Paige Fisher Monborn.
Jamie Mitchell.
Nina Montgomery.
Aaron Monshine.
Tyler Moranier.
Brendan Scott Mooney.
Laura Brett Moriarty.
Lucas Moriera Yamamura.
Nicholas James O'Leary.
Cassandra Mary Morley.
Charlotte Reed Morris.
Christina L. Morley.
Samuel Houston Morris.
Lucy Elizabeth Morris.
Benjamin Winslow Morse.
Alice Thornton Morrison.
Marina Moschito.
Christopher Ryan Mortensen.
Max Samuel Musenik.
Zachary Moscow.
Kevin Michael Mulkin.
Stephen Charles Munson.
Brendan James Murphy.
Erica Sophia Murillo.
Patrick John Murray.
Alexandra Elise Murray.
Eduardo Misael Nájera Ortega.
Brendan Francis Nagel.
Ayushi Narayan.
George Najar.
Isha Narayan.
Kristen Elise Nels.
Jake Francesco Nevola.
Chelsea Jocelyn Nelson.
Ben Hoang Nguyen.
Rachel Elizabeth Newton Padine.
Tien Wen.
Nguyen Mi Hein.
Elizabeth Lorene Niehaus.
Matthew John Nikolai.
Chusif Noor.
Catherine Reed Nimmo.
Rebecca Chase Novello.
Andrew James North.
Ellen Mary Nye.
Elizabeth Moore Nunley.
Julia Rendo Ocampo.
Lota Ulrika Nygren.
Caroline Grace O'Donnell.
Ryan Daniel O'Connor.
Rachel Hope Ofori.
Mame Afua Atua Ofori.
Sandra Emanuela Okonofua.
Shane Ridgway Ogren.
Alexander Conrad Olson.
Samantha O.
Shane Foster O'Neill.
Michael Patterson Olentine.
Cameron Weston Orth.
Daniel Eduardo Ors.
Catherine Evelyn O'Sullivan.
Stephanie Lynn Ostrowski.
Medi Omalki.
Christina Helena Askinis.
James Thomas Palmer.
Mahala Straight Pagan.
Pan Weiwei.
Phoebe Kate Palmer.
Tara Marie Paniag.
Lipsa Panda.
Michael Gregory Parrots.
Neelima Panth.
Ashley Park.
Alexander Sang Park.
Jennifer Jiyoung Park.
Grace Unyoung Park.
Yan Su Park.
Juliana Sunyu Park.
Toto Plamenov Parushev.
Madeline Elizabeth Gowan Parker.
Anna Rose Pasternak.
Paul Case Pashuko.
Charles Brian Pastazinski.
Sarah Rose Pasternak.
Sarah Ann Cuccio Peck.
Fletcher Devin Pease.
Nicholas Lyons Peisch.
Kayla E. Peterson.
Jesse Lawrence Peltier.
William E. Pelham.
James Pong.
Jacob Taylor Pendleton.
Marco Antonio Peraza.
Alexia Katrine Pereira.
Christopher Jake Perkins.
Jeffrey Mayers Perkins.
Michael Horner Perlstein.
Shauna Ashton Purvis.
Grace Shirley Fang.
Clayton James Pierce.
Matthew David Pierce.
Dominic Alexander Pierre.
Eliana Shira Kraus Piper.
Christian B. Patera.
Ellen Judith Pittman.
Avery Christine Plow.
Chinyi Maximilian Pung.
Keshav Raj Podar.
Allison Sasha Polton Simon.
Martin Pomikala.
Blaine Wellington Ponto.
Amber Harley Henricks Porter.
Emily Pendleton Porter.
Anne Elizabeth Portland.
Wilson Frederick Powell III.
Tevin Jerome Powers.
Stephen Prager.
Rohail Premji.
Christopher Carr Price.
Kevin Anthony Price.
Bryant Prier.
Callie Meredith Pruss.
Doris Fengling Poo.
Molly Randall Pugh.
Lucia Yang Chian.
Olivia Lynn Qualia.
Daniel Alicia Roskovitsky.
Derek Robert Racine.
Phoebe Ellen Racine.
Victoria Elizabeth Racone.
Kelly Vanessa Rada.
Nitya Shri Rajgopal.
Sulman Manzar Rajput.
Archana Ramanujam.
Chandrasekhar Ramesh.
Andres Felipe Ramirez. Shelby Antoine Ramirez.
Catherine Ann Randolph.
Annie Isabel Rao.
Virginia Nell Ratliff.
Carly Ilana Rao.
Samuel James Rauschenfels.
Varun Ravishankar.
Tyler Harrison Ray.
Gabriel Nathan Riddell Traub.
William Edward Reeves.
Liliana Rebecca Rimbar.
Lisa Forsyth Reynolds.
Alexander William Rassar.
Patrick Gorman Resch.
Anne Elizabeth Ressler.
Nathan John Resnicek.
Nicholas Joseph Resnicek.
David Andrew Rice.
Elaine Ann Richards.
Christopher Ahn Richardson.
Jacob Forrest Ritchie.
Maura Larson Riley.
Robert Clayton Robbins, Jr.
Gareth Talbot Roberg Clark.
Andrew Alton Roberts.
Eric James Robinson.
Sagasi Riyadh Roberts.
Alicia Rodriguez.
Ayan Igal Roble.
Caitlin Marie Rogers.
Roberto Elias Rodriguez.
Sheena Michelle Rogers.
Leo Allen Rogers.
Guillermo Karenina Rojas Hernandez.
Catherine Louise Roan.
Eric Michael Rosen.
Horacio Marconi Romero Castillo.
Janelle Casey Ross.
Justin Alexander Rossner.
Brendan Blaney Rotans.
Sarah Michelle Rousseau.
Rebecca Day Rothfeld.
Anna Lee Roth.
Hannah Prescott Rowe.
Alex Robert Rowe.
Nastasia Rudak.
Margaret Muir Rowland.
Michael Joseph Runger.
Gustavo Ruiz Yopis.
Christine Rue.
Grace Brady Rousseau.
Charles Samuel Sadaka.
Joseph Patrick Ramsawak.
Michael Monroe Saltzman.
Derek William Salama.
Andrew Donald Samuels.
Daniel Ryan Samost.
Joshua Sylvester Sands.
Edgar Sandoval.
Rena Sapone White.
Nelson Dupree Santry.
Siddharth Ashok Sathe.
Lauren Claire Sarner.
Matthew Sattler.
Raquel Antoinette Satterwhite.
Margaret Airing Scanlon.
Alexis K. Savini.
William Martin Scheiman.
Maya Smith Schechter.
Carl Trigvi Schutz.
Joshua Michael Schiefelbein.
Elisa Faith Scudder.
Felicia Heather Schwartz.
Nicola Siegel.
Nancy S. Seam.
Dustin Selzer.
Michael Paul Seitz.
Elizabeth Reynolds Seiferth.
Minay Sog.
Andrew James Shanahan.
Julie Mara Shepto.
Himanshu Kumar Sharma.
Samara Rose Schenker.
Gunnar Gale Shaw.
James Caleb Sharp V.
Catherine Victoria Shelton.
Mila Child Sheline.
Audrey Clark Sherman.
Alicia Dangling Shin.
Ray Shu.
Michelle Wintron Shu.
Rachel Elizabeth Siegel.
Adam Raynard Sedlecki.
David Adams Sinclair.
Catherine Elizabeth Sinclair.
Isana Anna Leah Skeet.
Eric A. Scarin.
Amanda Caitlin Smith.
Colin Michael Skelly.
Ryan Andrew Smith.
Robert Michael Smith.
Paul Sohn.
Vivian Francis Snyder.
Andrew David Spalding.
Ariana Moselle Sofer.
Alexandra Lusberg St. Romain.
Christina Maria Sperduto.
Emma Boston Steele.
Amanda Marie Spoto.
Victoria Stein.
Stephen Randall Stafford II.
Callan Zachary Stephen.
Caroline Ann Steffen.
Gabrielle Elizabeth Stern.
Robert Theodore Steinbach Jr.
Evan Elizabeth Sterneck.
Henry Windsor Sterling.
Ian Stewart.
Samuel Aaron Stern.
Brendan Howard Stoner.
Claire Reagan Stewart.
John Gleason Strizich.
Sabrina Kyoko Arabella Stewart.
Eric Preston Leon Swan.
Tessa Nicole Streeter.
Erica Y. Sun.
Alexander Stick.
Carolyn Suresh.
Michael Lester Takashi Sugimura.
Chelsea Marina Sudam.
Yushi Ruby Sun.
Nicole Leanne Swanson.
Morgan Brian Sutherland.
Timothy McKay Sweeney.
Luke Patrick Sudam.
Samuel Junjie Tan.
Meredith May Sweeney.
Jessica Marie Tarbell.
Alexandra Paige Tarkowski.
Valeria Tatisheva.
Adam Paul Tanay.
Stephen Anthony Tebby.
Melinda Sue Tascarella.
Victoria Alexandra Tersini.
Jacqueline Esme Taylor.
Raj Thacker.
Shauna Jean Tevens.
Cooper Thomas.
Peter Tedderwalk.
Jovalie Tessina Thompson.
Jeremy Ross Benoit Thibodeau.
Catherine McKella Thorstad.
Ethan Michael Thomas.
Margaret Elizabeth Tierney.
Molly Elizabeth Thornton.
Timothy Toe.
Ryan William Tibble.
Erin Elizabeth Tomalonis.
Sarah H. Ting.
Victoria Draper Townsend.
Ryan Matthew Toymill.
Victoria Trump Red.
Alexander Thompson Tote.
Victoria Amber Tucker.
Vanessa C. Tren.
Mary Elizabeth Turner.
Alexander Sue.
Danielle Undershoots.
Melina Turk.
Nathan Benjamin Utterback.
Stephanie Elizabeth Urig.
Ariana Catherine Valis.
Sonia Alexandra Uribe.
Lydia Judith Valdez.
Athel Paramesh Vajanathan.
Ismael Amperio Vallejo.
Yesenia Marie Valadez.
Mary Christine Van Meter.
Jose Ignacio Valdovinos.
Sofia Carolina Vasquez.
Nicola Ann King Vance.
Natalia Marie Veserek.
Camille Marie Van Putten.
Jordan Bell Verily.
Caitlin Laura Vieter.
George Matthew Vetter IV.
William Velasquez.
Samantha Colleen Vector.
Isabel Vervey.
Siegfried Sextus von Bonin.
Jennifer K. Vickers.
Edward Randolph von Kuhn.
Eirik Alexander Cleve Val.
Karen Michelle Fawn Way.
Stephanie Chilla Von Cheeky Sesams.
Jacob Lawrence Walker.
Ling Zia Vu.
Lindsay Victoria Walsh.
Holly Noble Wakeman. Daniel Wong.
Caitlin Crump Walker.
Robin Wong.
Jana Catherine Wanzelak.
Sarah Wong.
Kevin Anzai Wong.
Yichuan Wang.
Rose Song Wong.
Eric Michael Waskowitz.
Xiaocheng Wong.
Connor Allen Wadamole.
Jason Isaac Wardy.
Matthew James Weefer.
Lucille Mamie Watkins.
Benjamin Jacob Weil.
Holly Dobbins Weed.
Jennifer Lindsay Weisbach.
Harrison Chase Widener.
Alexander Patrick Welton.
Talia Lyric Weiss.
Jordan Michael West.
Emily Warren Weisswasser.
Thomas James Whalen.
Alexander Chan Werner.
Louis John Wheatley.
Gilbert Evans Whalen.
Autumn Dawn White Eyes.
Eric Howe Wang.
Hannah Greenwood Williams.
Kelsey Gill Wheeler.
Ronald Tyler Williams II.
Amina Williams.
Olumayowa Anjola Olua Willoughby.
Kylie Jean Williams.
Thomas Sean Wilson.
Raven Marcia Willis.
Trevelyan Sherman Wing.
Paige Catherine Wilson.
Alexandra Alfreda Annie Winkle.
Kamiko Ray Winborn.
Marissa Lynn Wizig.
Anna Genevieve Winham.
Jessica Raquel Wolf.
Celeste Melody Winston.
Ashley Yenying Wong.
Alexander John Wolf.
Deandra Wong.
Reed William Womack.
Kelly Ann Wood.
Danny Wong.
Cameron Robbins Woodworth.
Ying Chi Wong.
Wendy Ann Chiao.
William Troop Wood.
Tian Hao Shu.
Eva Wong Xiao.
Eric Cheng Yang.
Lucy Shi.
Zhang Yi Yang.
Fisher Fishway Yang.
Abigail Catherine Yazbak.
Freddie Yang.
Leslie Yi.
Royce Yap.
Brian Jingren Ye.
Crystal Jingjing Ye.
Alexei Leonidovich Yerukimov.
Allison Yeager.
Everett Bryce Young.
Deborah Jun Yoang.
Jessica Ji-Yun Yu.
Winnie Yo.
Patrick Richard Yukman.
Iris Yu.
Natalia Zabib.
Richard Yu.
Eve Ariel Zellinger.
Eduardo Zapata.
Simon Jingxi Zhang.
Madeline Gray Zeiss.
Eugene Edward Zheng.
Sun Zhang.
Emily Dai Zhu.
Anthony Yefeng Zhao.
Chloe Olivia Zimmerman.
Rosie Zhao.
Nate Zupan.
Nicola Sterling Zimmer.
Cameron Scott Colwell.
Lucas Emmanuel Zerngibel.
Kiko Mui Ling Lam.
Wouter Zwart. Anna Elizabeth Roberts.
Will the head marshal please raise the entire graduating class? Thank you. Great job. To our faculty, staff, students, alumni, honored guests, family, and friends, let me bid you good morning and welcome. And to those who are graduating today, the unforgettable 14s, let me offer my congratulations. I offer congratulations also on behalf of the many members of the class of 64, the great class of 64, who are here today. And indeed, from all alumni, from those of us who have walked the paths of this green ourselves, we salute you in deep respect for all that you've accomplished. As wide-eyed 18-year-olds, we too joined the Dartmouth community. We looked around at these impressive buildings, met Dartmouth's incredibly smart people, pondered the impenetrable course guide, and asked ourselves, as I hope many of you did 4 years ago, am I ready for this? An appropriate question, because you were challenged at Dartmouth, intellectually, socially, physically, challenges that seemed insurmountable. Realizing late at night, 10 pages into that 20-page paper, that your thesis was somewhere in between unsupportable and just flat out wrong. Looking down at that physics test that no one short of Einstein could have aced. Looking up at the granite escarpment of Mount Musalak that would surely give Edmund Hillary second thoughts. You pushed yourself to success in the classroom, in the laboratory, on the field of competition, under the bright lights of the stage. But in college, as in life, you also endured setbacks and you made mistakes. Not every risk you took resulted in reward. Perhaps you had to settle for a grade that was not the first letter of the alphabet, or even the second, or the third. Maybe an injury hampered your success on the field after years of diligent preparation. Many of you at times felt the pain of not being selected or not being included. And together this year, we endured the deepest loss that any community can experience, the deaths of two vibrant and precious members of the student body, Torrin Tucker and Blaine Steinberg. And yet, you're here today, which shows that through it all, you picked yourself up and you moved forward. You came to appreciate, I hope, that a truly hard-fought bee can be a triumph not inked on paper, but carved into the granite of your character. Each of you has stories of resilience to tell, resilience that you forged here at Dartmouth. And with resilience, you discovered that in spite of any doubt, in the face of every setback, you really were ready for the challenges and opportunities of Dartmouth. And so today, as a reward, we have handed you a hard-earned degree, and we say, you haven't seen anything yet. Here's a world full of much more complicated problems. Now please go address them. And the hard truth is, those of you who were born in the late 80s and 90s entered a world that's changing more rapidly than at any time in the past. Imagine the changes just the last 2 decades have brought. The birth of e-commerce and social networking, social mobility and the internet in your pocket. I know it's there because I can see some of you checking it right now. 9/11 and the war on terrorism, intense financial volatility, the dot-com bubble, followed by an historic housing boom, followed by an historic housing bust, and then the worst global recession since the 1930s, all in the span of 8 years. A wise Dartmouth graduate, John Rosenwald, class of '52, likes to say that no pancake is so thin that it doesn't have 2 sides.
And indeed, during this period of rapid change, your generation will grapple with the flip sides of progress like no other. The mobile revolution brings gains in productivity, but then only deepens the divide between the developed and developing world. Medical advances bring longer lifespans, but also 9 billion people to house and feed. Industrialization in emerging markets challenges us with energy demands like the world has never seen before. And the list goes on and on. And I offer these challenges not because they are unfamiliar to you, but to prompt you to ask, as you did 4 years ago, am I ready for this? Again, an appropriate question. And though it goes against my DNA as a teacher, I'm going to give you the answer, because I want you to hear it said loudly and with absolute conviction. Class of 2014, you are ready. You are ready. You are ready because Dartmouth not only honed your powerful intellects, but gave you an even more valuable gift, the gift of resilience. Here you forged resilience. You learned that setbacks are not the end of the road, but rather an opportunity to learn, adjust, and move on. Hold tight to that thought, because it will see you to success in the years ahead, where many others who do not have that gift will fall short. Every year at this quintessential Dartmouth moment, when the president addresses the graduates, something very special comes into view from our vantage point up here on the stage, a sight that's humbling and inspiring. At this moment, looking out across our green, we do not see a world of insurmountable challenges. We see a fellowship of leaders standing many rows deep who will work to conquer them. At this moment, the future looks so promising. And so, unforgettable class of 14, one final thought from your president. Just as you stepped out of your comfort zone by coming here, now you emerge from the long, comforting shadow of Baker Tower into the world beyond these woods. You may not feel ready to leave, but you are ready to succeed. Today, I stand with the class of 64 and all our alumni in saying that wherever you go and whatever passions you pursue, you will find the Dartmouth Fellowship ready to support you. For the unique role you played in the history of our beloved alma mater, we applaud you. For the impact that you will have on a world that badly needs your leadership, we commend you. For the indelible memory you will leave with me as the first class I have had the privilege to see walking across the stage as president, I thank you. And now, the world beyond the woods awaits. It's there that you will risk a lot. It's there that you will find successes and you will find failures. And it's there that you will ultimately leave your mark. Best of luck, and remember to always keep Dartmouth in your heart. Congratulations.
Will the audience please rise and join the Glee Club and the graduating class in the singing of 2 verses of the alma mater. Congratulations to the class of 2014. The audience is requested to be seated while the platform group, the faculty, and the graduates march out.